Alright, give me a minute, guys, and then we can get into what we gotta discuss here. Meanwhile, Falcons surprisingly up by 7 against the Chiefs. Mahomes threw a pick. Mahomes has not been playing great football to start off the season, and they're still winning football games. That should tell you just exactly where they are. Mahomes doesn't even have to play well, and they find ways to win football games. Mahomes has turned the ball over. He has 4 interceptions in 3 weeks, and they're probably going to win this game and go 3-0. What does that say for the rest of the league? I'm just saying, this guy can play bad or make mistakes and turn the ball over at a higher level, and the Chiefs are still winning football games. That's just scary. That's frightening. That's absolutely frightening. But I got a few things I got to do before we get into this. Ah, crap baskets. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about this because it feels like one of those weeks where you kind of feel like more should have happened, or the way things went was not the way things should have gone, and we're gonna talk about it in just a minute. I told you guys I'd be back. And we are back to talk about this game because we have to. We have to talk about this game. Because this was crazy. Not gonna lie, Mahomes is not playing great football to start the season for the most part, and they're still winning football games. That's crazy. Chiefs are just going to cruise their way to a three-peat because nobody has any idea what to make in the National Football League right now. Through 3 weeks, Sam Darnold looks like the best quarterback in football, low-key. Ravens nearly choked and blew it against the Cowboys. They survived, but they nearly blew it. And if they would have blown it and gone 0-3, their season ends right there. Steelers are 3-0 with Justin Fields as the quarterback. It's just so confusing. Football never seems to make sense, bro. Football never seems to make sense. And it's always fun to see how things are going to go. Because you know no matter how you look at things, it's just not going to make sense. Alright. I think I should be good for the most part. Let me do this last part here and then we can talk. Alright, we're good to go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Ravens Flock, how are you guys doing? It actually feels somewhat nice to be able to talk to you guys after a win. It's really nice to talk to you guys after a win, you know. It's been a while since we've seen the Ravens win, you know. It's been a while. It's not easy to win in the National Football League. But it's nice to be able to get a win, even if it's a win like this. So obviously we have to talk about the game because this was a mess. Ravens were able to get the 28-25 victory, but it was less of a victory and more of the Ravens surviving their own incompetence. Because the way this game went down the fourth quarter, you would have sworn the Ravens were going to choke this again. What's going on to some of you guys in the chat? Steelers getting this division with the way the AFC North is looking. Browns just got embarrassed by the Giants. Who knows if the Commanders are going to beat the Bengals or not. And we had to fight for our lives in the fourth quarter to try not to choke against the Cowboys. Meanwhile, Steelers are winning this division because they're the only team in the division that's not incompetent right now. They're winning this because everybody else in the division is just hurting themselves, just crashing right now. It's crazy. Falcons cooking up tonight. Even reps won't bail them out. Nah, Chiefs probably still going to win this game. I doubt the Chiefs lose to the Falcons. Wiggins did look pretty good. We'll get into that. Texans looked human today. Crazy loss like that. It's the National Football League, and it's any given Sunday, my friend. Anybody can lose. Still one Harb's gone for years. Ravens haven't been able to close out in the fourth quarter. We will get into that, my friend. Win, yes. Only 3 wide receivers available. That's kind of just how they want to play. Good game, Ravens. Hey, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Tough loss for you guys, but you guys will be able to bounce back. The good news is you're in the NFC East, man. Unfortunately for you guys, the Saints choked at the end because the Eagles were about to lose that game. Nick Sirianni is doing a great job in literally putting his team in positions to lose football games. If it wasn't for Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goedert saving the day, they probably lose against the Saints. But it is what it is. And the Giants getting a win also doesn't help you guys in that case. Who knows? Maybe the Commanders take it down. They're also 1-2 alongside you guys. But who knows? I'm hoping the Commanders will win. I'll be here tomorrow night for that. So hopefully the Commanders get a win against the Bengals. But I don't have much hope with that. Anyway, let me get into this game. I'll get back to the comments afterwards as Mahomes gets a touchdown. And they just tied the game. Wait. Please be on the offense. Holding. Yes, Mahomes has his hands on his hips. That means it's against them. He don't look happy. Mahomes has his hands on his hips. That means he's not. Never mind. Okay, so let me get back to this. You can't even touch Mahomes nowadays. Roughing the passer on that. Okay. Roughing the passer? Because they pushed it? Okay. This league is soft. I'm not even here for this. Let's get into this. So the Ravens get the 28-25 victory. They advance to 1-2 on the NFL season, and they basically saved their seasons because since 1999, out of the 130 teams that have gone 0-3 since 1999, only one team made the playoffs. The rest of the 129, they've missed the playoffs. So Baltimore winning this game significantly increases their playoff hopes. What makes things even better is Cleveland also lost. They're 1-2 now. And Cincinnati's also 0-2. So you got other individuals you're fighting for the division with that are also taking losses and also will match you up. Even if Cincinnati wins, they'll have the same record as you. The only thing that's downside in this one is the Pittsburgh Steelers. But you still have plenty of opportunity to try to get back into this division. You take it one game at a time, and winning this game is a big step towards helping you get back into this division. Like I was saying after the Raiders loss, through 5 games last season, the Ravens were 3-2. If the Ravens can find a way to get to 3-2, they'll be right where they were last year. And the schedule starts to lighten up a little. You're going to deal with the Commanders. You're going to deal with the Bucs, which you should be able to deal with. You've got some lesser games during the middle half of the season to help you stack wins potentially to put yourself in a position to make the playoffs. But it starts by going through this gauntlet. You got the Cowboys game. You have to get it next week against the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football. However, we're not here to talk about the Bills like that. Obviously, we're going to turn our focus to that because they're coming to Baltimore for Sunday Night Football next week, and we have to be ready for the Bills. We got to talk about this game because the Ravens got the win, but the problems still remain for the Ravens. So, let's talk about the good that we saw from the Ravens, and then we'll talk about the bad. The good! Our co-MVPs, in my opinion. Our co-MVPs for this game, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. If we did not have these two players on this football team, we would have lost this game. Lamar Jackson with 269 total yards, 2 total touchdowns. Also had a passer rating of 139. Derrick Henry, 151 total rushing yards, 6 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. I believe he also had about, let me check, I have it here as well. He also had 23 rushing yards. So that man nearly had 200 total yards. He nearly had 200 total yards. So Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, co-MVPs. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, co-MVPs. They are the reason we won this game. If it wasn't for Lamar Jackson, if it wasn't for Derrick Henry, we're losing this football game. So that's the good. Shout out to them, co-MVPs for this game. A little bit of praise to everybody else. Shout out to Rashad Bateman, getting himself open in the end zone, scoring a touchdown. A lot of us have been down on Bateman. We've been down on him. We haven't seen the production in any facet. Rashad Bateman getting a touchdown and connecting with Lamar is going to help build his confidence and hopefully help build the chemistry between these two. It's nice to see the guy get in the end zone with the way this fan base has come after him. It's just nice to see the guy score. So shout out to Rashad Bateman. Shout out to Nelson Aguilar for that huge 51-yard play. He almost got a touchdown on the catch and run. He legitimately just sideswept a defender and did what he needed to do. So shout out to Nelson Aguilar on that play because he sets us up at the goal line there and nearly had a touchdown himself. Shout out to Zay Flowers. He made the biggest catch of the game. That third down play, if he doesn't make that catch, we have to punt the football, and the Cowboys probably go down the field to score a touchdown and win this game. So shout out to Zay Flowers for making a tough contested catch on third down. Shout out to Kyle Van Noy. He balled out. He had 2 sacks. Kyle Van Noy has 4 sacks through 3 games. He is balling out of control. I'm glad we brought him back. He's doing his thing. Shout out to Kyle Van Noy. Shout out to Nnamdi Madubuike and everybody in the front 7. Because our D-line, which, by the way, coming into the season, we had questions about our D-line. They're doing a damn good job. The Cowboys could not run the football on us. And the pass rush was consistently getting to Dak Prescott. Nnamdi Madubuike nearly had a safety. He almost brought Dak Prescott down. Dak was just barely able to get the ball out. And in that situation, that should have been a safety. I said on the technicality, they're gonna count it as a illegal touching, which that would normally be the rule. But he's in the end zone, and he just threw it like that. They should have overruled that and gone to intentional grounding. But they chose to go with illegal touching. It is what it is. But yeah, shout out to the D-line. Shout out to the D-line. That needs to be praised here because the front 7 of the Ravens defense is massively carrying the defense as a whole. Last year, early on in the season when the pass rush was trying to get themselves together with Clowney and that crew, we were looking at them and saying the pass rush not getting to the quarterback is making it harder for the secondary to hold up. The secondary is being held back by a pass rush. This season, the pass rush is getting held back. The pass rush and the front 7 is getting held back by a secondary. Can you believe that? So shout out to them. Shout out to them. That's just a few things to say. So the good, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry co-MVPs. That's the good. Nelson Aguilar making a huge catch and run. That's the good. Rashad Bateman getting a touchdown. That's the good. Zay Flowers getting the biggest catch of the game. That's good right there. The front 7 of the Ravens defense stopping the run. That's good. Another one to add. Shout out Nate Wiggins for forcing the turnover, going one-on-one against one of the best receivers in football in CeeDee Lamb. He knocked the ball out, forced the turnover, and got the ball back to the Ravens offense. Shout out to Nate Wiggins, the rookie. He played well today. He did give up one big play to CeeDee Lamb, but other than that, he really did his thing. And at the end of the day, him giving up a big play in that situation, it don't matter. CeeDee Lamb, one of the best receivers in football. Not to mention, CeeDee Lamb was trying to get that get back because Nate Wiggins already caused him to turn the ball over. So he was trying to get that get back on the rookie. Either way, shout out to Nate Wiggins. He did his thing. Another thing that you have to give credit to, and we'll give credit to them today because they did their job. Shout out to the offensive line. They created holes that allowed Derrick Henry to run the football. The offensive line did a great job blocking, and they did a pretty decent job passing. Now, there were aspects of pass protection that I didn't like, and I still have concerns for certain aspects of passing protection, but I will give credit where credit's due. In some passing situations, they did give Lamar enough time to throw the ball. And that's why he was relatively clean today, and he was really accurate with the ball and making smart decisions and had a little time to throw. So shout out to the offensive line for doing their job. We want to see consistency within the offensive line. But they did do their job today. So shout out to the offensive line. So that's pretty much the good. The offensive line. Lamar and Derrick Henry saving the day and being the reason we won the game. Zay Flowers making the clutchest catch of the game. Nelson Aguilar having that huge catch and run. Nate Wiggins forcing a fumble. The front 7 stopping the run and getting to Dak Prescott consistently and putting pressure on him and forcing him to make bad throws. Yeah, shout out to those guys. That is the good that we saw from the Ravens. And because of this good that we saw, the Ravens were able to win this game. So shout out to them. I'm going to give credit to them where credit's due. Shout out to all of them that I talked about. That's the good. Let's get into the bad. Defense. You have so much talent on the defense. You invested so much into your secondary. And they're the worst passing defense in football right now. Our secondary is one of the worst in football right now. Our secondary can't stop a nosebleed. They can't cover to save their lives. They've been piss poor through the first quarter. Sorry, through the first 3 games of the season. We ain't there yet. Through the first 3 games of the season, the Ravens secondary has been one of, if not the worst, secondaries in football. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. I don't know how many times I saw so many passes thrown above the reach of Roquan Smith's hands. Just to see, there's not a single defender in the backfield in the secondary. Right behind him, Dak Prescott continued to attack the middle of the field, throwing the ball over Roquan Smith's head, and nobody was there. Our secondary is one of the worst secondaries from a performance standpoint, not a talent standpoint. We're one of the worst secondaries in football right now, if not the worst. Dak Prescott threw for nearly 400 yards on us. Over nearly 200 of those yards came in the fourth quarter. This defense, when they need to make stops, they can't do it. When you go out there and ask the defense to make stops, they can't make stops. How can you put your faith and trust in a Ravens defense that cannot make stops? One of the worst secondaries, if not the worst secondary. They might be rated last. Last week, they were rated last. They might still have that title after this week. As Kirk Cousins gets a touchdown? Or they're at the 1-yard line. And he threw that to Kyle Pitts, who, again, apparently the Falcons are using now. Back to this. This secondary has been one of the worst, if not the worst secondaries in football. What's going on with them? Part of this has to be execution. Another part of it has to be scheming and play calling. And that's a Zachary Orr thing that he's going to have to fix. Because this secondary cannot continue to look this poor. They're not going to win a lot of football games if the secondary is looking this poor. The secondary nearly blew this game. The secondary is going to have to get it together. Because I need you guys to understand, Dak Prescott threw for nearly 400 yards. He threw for nearly 400 yards and had 2 passing touchdowns against this defense. And a rushing touchdown, but that's a different conversation. Nearly 400 yards of offense and 2 touchdowns because that secondary can't cover to save their lives. Do you understand what Josh Allen will do to us on Sunday night? Do you understand? Do you understand with the way this secondary is playing? Do you understand just how bad Josh Allen's going to carve them up if they don't get it together? Dak Prescott threw for nearly 400 yards on that defense. Can you imagine what Josh Allen is going to do to that secondary? I'm in fear. I'm in fear. And we'll have to talk about that when we actually discuss that upcoming game. But man, if this secondary doesn't get it together, they're going to cost this team. If this secondary does not get it together, they're going to cost this team. They're going to cost this team big. And it's going to be a problem. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy to see how poor the secondary's playing. That is embarrassing. The Ravens are defined by 2 things: the defense and the running game. Right now, the defense isn't doing their job, specifically the secondary. If those guys don't get it together, they're gonna cost this team. They're gonna cost this team big time. I'm in fear for what Josh Allen's gonna do to that secondary next week. If Dak can throw for nearly 400 yards against them, what do you think Josh Allen's going to do? Well, you might as well pencil in Josh Allen for over 300 yards passing and 3 passing touchdowns, and you might as well give him a rushing touchdown too, because they're not going to stop him if they're going to play like this. pathetic. They were the worst unit tonight. They were the worst unit tonight. No question they were the worst unit. But guess what? We have a close second. We have a very close second for who was just as bad as the Ravens defense, specifically the secondary, not the pass rush. We could talk about a unit that was just as bad as the Ravens secondary. Guess who that was? Oh, welcome, 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 special teams. The bad. I really hate to say this. And I really hope Buddy can get it together. But dog, Justin Tucker was bad today. He only had one field goal attempt. It was a 46-yard field goal. In previous years, we never had to concern ourselves with any field goal under 50. Never had to concern ourselves. But now in back-to-back weeks, we're watching Justin Tucker miss field goals we know he makes on a routine. Buddy has missed 3 field goals in 3 games. Justin Tucker is missing from under 50. I hope he can get it together. Obviously, he'll have the opportunity to get it together because it's Justin Tucker. But, bro, I'm afraid Father Time is creeping up on Justin Tucker. I thought he legit had 4 or 5 more years left in his career in terms of just still being that guy. But I don't know, man. His accuracy's just gone out of nowhere. And it's up to him to fix it. If he's got to spend extra time in practice, if he's got to change up his routine, whatever it takes to fix his accuracy. Because the leg's still there. The length of these kicks are still there. He could still boot it from 60 plus. But the accuracy's not there. And if he doesn't fix it, that's going to be it for him. Unfortunately, Justin Tucker wasn't the only problem with special teams. The Cowboys score a touchdown. They're down now by 2 scores. They're down 16. They choose to kick an onside kick. The Ravens know an onside kick is coming. The onside kick happens. The ball bounces to Zay Flowers. And Zay Flowers does not make the catch. My question is, why is Zay Flowers in for an onside kick? Why do you have Zay Flowers out there in special teams for an onside kick? Why? Why? It hasn't garnered a lot of positive results. Why is he out there? That's my question. Why is he out there? That was what confused me. Why is Zay Flowers out there on an onside kick? You don't have anybody else you could put in that position? That's a legit special teams player? I don't understand, man. I don't understand. I really don't. I really don't. John Harbaugh is a special teams guy. He was hired for this head coaching position fresh out of being a special teams coach in Philadelphia. Special teams is supposed to be his bread and butter. You would think he would still have something to do with that. And yet special teams have been awful. This week, Justin Tucker misses a field goal. We get a fumble. No, we don't get a fumble. We don't recover on an onside kick, which gives more life to the Cowboys. Last week, Justin Tucker misses a kick. Stout punts one of the worst punts of the season. And we end up blowing that game against the Raiders. Special teams is supposed to be great because you have a coach that's supposed to specialize in special teams. Yet here we are, the special team sucks. The special team's bad. And it's bad under his watch. I don't even know what else to say. Let's bring up another bad because this one is also unexcusable. The Ravens today, let me count it. I want to make sure I know. I need to take a check here. Trying to see in terms of we get more of this, please. Let me see. I want to take a check on something. penalties. There it is. So, the Ravens are such an undisciplined football team. They're so undisciplined, it hurts. It actively hurts. These are the type of things that will cost you a football game. The Ravens, when it comes to penalties, I don't know what to say about these guys, man. It actively annoys the hell out of me to watch this team, go out there and commit penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty. How many penalties are you going to have on a week-to-week basis, dude? This is embarrassing. Now, I'm actually looking for something to talk about the penalties. Give me a second here, because I'm going to blow your mind with this. And I don't think anyone's surprised based on how poor they've been, but I'm going to blow your mind with this, because this is how embarrassing and how undisciplined this team has been. And you can't convince anybody otherwise. This is a joke. So let me get this straight. Week one against Kansas City, Baltimore committed 7 penalties for 64 yards. Week 1 versus Kansas City, they committed 7 penalties for 64 yards. Week 2 against the Las Vegas Raiders, the Baltimore Ravens committed 11 penalties for 109 yards. So week 1, 7 penalties, 64 yards. Week 2, 11 penalties, 109 yards. Guess what happened here today? 13 penalties, 105 yards. Back-to-back games of committing double-digit penalties for over 100 yards? Are you for real? That's Cowboys level of incompetence. That's Falcons level of incompetence. Back-to-back weeks of giving up double-digit penalties for over 100 yards. You can't win like this. You can't. The Ravens were lucky to be up 22. If they were up 10, they would have lost this game. 13 penalties for 105 yards? Back-to-back weeks? In 2 weeks, they have committed 24 penalties for 214 yards. That is a joke. A complete joke. And it's still a problem. This is an undisciplined football team. Undisciplined. So the bad. The secondary can't cover to save their lives. They may be the worst secondary unit in football right now based on rating and performance-wise. The special teams has been awful this season. It's been problematic the last few years, but it's been awful this season. And the team is an undisciplined mess. Back-to-back weeks of double-digit penalties for over 100 yards. You cannot win long-term like this. These same issues continue to arise. It's going to cost you in the biggest moments. How are they going to look next week against Buffalo? If they're out there committing all these penalties and the defense can't cover to save their lives, Buffalo's going to hang 30 plus on us. And there's not a damn thing we can do about it. Because this secondary can't cover. And they can't stop committing penalties. That's the bad. So we saw the good and we saw the bad. To get into the game, well, for 3 quarters, the Baltimore Ravens were dominating. We sat back here and said that the Ravens are playing dumb football. It's so simple. You work to the strengths of your guys. You work to the strengths of Derrick Henry. You don't need to make football complicated. You know you got to give him the ball. He is a zone runner. Run him like that. Have Lamar under center and have him hand the ball off to Derrick Henry. Let him get a running start, and they'll start dominating defenses. The Ravens actually heard us. Todd Monken listened, and they actually did that in this game. And lo and behold, 151 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns for Derrick Henry. It's funny how things turn out when you work to the strengths of your players. You work to the strengths of Derrick Henry, so he balls out. Very interesting how that works out. So through 3 quarters, he's balling out. Lamar's playing great. The offense is moving down the field, putting up high yardages and finishing these drives. They're looking nice. The secondary is not getting cooked through 3 quarters. The pass rush is aggressive, and they're getting to Dak Prescott. They're just putting the pressure on him. They're getting him to the ground. They're sacking him. They're getting him out of there. Through 3 quarters, this Ravens team looked great. But, like I tweeted earlier today, the Ravens are the worst fourth quarter football team in the NFL. When it comes to the fourth quarter, they cannot close a game to save their lives. You had a 22-point lead heading into the fourth quarter. A 22-point lead heading into the fourth quarter. And you nearly blew it. You gave up 18 unanswered points. 18 unanswered points. Are you kidding me right now? You nearly blew it. You nearly blew it. The funny part about it is, if the Cowboys never went for 2, that would have been a tie game. If the Cowboys never went for 2, that would have potentially been a tie game. They would have to go for 2 once at least. Maybe, depending on the numbers, they probably would have. Because it was 28-6, so you would have to at least go for 1 2-point conversion. But if they just would have went for 1 instead of 3, potentially they tied the game. But in the fourth quarter, when you have a 22-point lead, guess what happens every time with the Ravens? The secondary forgets how to cover. The secondary forgets how to cover. They can't do anything worth a damn. They can't cover to save their lives. They constantly get beat over the middle. You got Roquan Smith looking lost out there, looking like a lost child in pass coverage. Oh yeah, by the way, another good thing I didn't speak of, Trenton Simpson looks great. I mean, Trenton Simpson hasn't done anything majorly bad. He's looked great. Shout out to Trenton Simpson. He's looking great. That's another good another positive I want to add here. But yeah, you got Roquan Smith looking lost in pass coverage. Our corners looking lost. Our safeties looking lost. I don't even know what they're doing back there. They're not even playing like Kyle Hamilton back there as a deep safety. They're not. So we don't even know what's happening in the backfield a lot of times. We're just watching this secondary get cooked over and over again. They're getting cooked and cooked and cooked. And it was just the same thing over and over again. Attack the middle of the field. Attack the middle field. Attack the middle field. They weren't attacking outside because they couldn't get anything going outside. But they kept attacking the middle of the field over and over and over again. Dak Prescott's just throwing the ball over the hands of Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith reaching up like he's going to get that pass. He's not going to get that pass. It's over his hands and right into the hands of a wide open receiver that's open in the middle of the field. So many openings in the middle of the field. Nobody made the adjustment. They could cover outside. They weren't getting beat outside the numbers. Dak kept firing to the middle of the field. The touchdowns happened inside the numbers in the middle of the field because they couldn't do anything outside. But they could kill you inside. Because nobody made the adjustment in the middle of the field. And it was so frustrating watching the defense make the same mistake over and over and over and over and over and over again. Make the adjustment! My God. Same old story with the Ravens secondary so far this year. Just not making the adjustments. Just not making the adjustment. Meanwhile, the offense does what the offense loves to do. And this is I don't even care if you want to sit back and say, no. This is a classic hardball thing. Let me tell you right now. Did you see what the offense did in the fourth quarter and how they got conservative? This is a classic hardball move. Lamar hates it, but this is a classic hardball move. When we have the lead in the fourth quarter, instead of putting our foot on their neck, not getting off the gas pedal, we play conservative. The play calling gets conservative. This always happens. This is not something that started with Lamar. This used to piss off Flacco too. I will never forget the Super Bowl year where he's talking, I believe it was Cam Cameron at the time. He was talking with one of the offense. It was Cam Cameron or Jim Caldwell. I remember him talking about us playing conservative. And Flacco directly said on that video for the Super Bowl year, he directly sat back and said, if we're going to get to a Super Bowl, we can't keep playing conservative. Because it's like, we're 15 for 15 out there, but we're not even trying to test it down the field. We're just checking it down and running the ball in these moments. I'm just telling you what we got to do. I'm not trying to argue with you, but if we want to get to a Super Bowl, we can't play conservative. Flacco back then knew about this. Flacco hates when we play conservative. The check down king himself hated when we played conservative. I just want to give you that aspect here. Flacco himself hated when the offense got conservative. Every time we would have a lead back then with Flacco, we would have a 10-point lead back then with Flacco. In the fourth quarter, we would get conservative and try to run the ball. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But this is a classic hardball move. He loves getting conservative in the fourth. Let's not continue to try to put our foot on the gas pedal, keep it going, keep attacking, make sure they don't have any chance to come back. No, let's get conservative. Let's get conservative. Harbaugh always does this. This isn't just a thing that started out with Lamar. Flacco had the same issue with this too. He did not like that we got conservative at times. And Lamar hates it too. But that's a Harbaugh special. That's a Harbaugh special. It's what he loves to do. It's what he loves to do. Nothing you can do about that. So while the defense is out there getting cooked because they can't stop a nosebleed, the offense is out here actively playing conservative. Which, you know what ended up happening when we started playing conservative and the defense can't make stops? It turned into a 3-point game. And once it became a 3-point game, it became the Lamar Save Us show. Lamar, save us. Lamar, save us. You're our only hope, Lamar. Lamar, you got to get it done. You're the 2-time MVP. Go out there and make a stop. Not make a stop. Go out there and make some plays and ice this game. It's all on you, Lamar. Lamar, Lamar, Lamar. How many times are we going to ask Lamar to save us? How many times are we going to sit back and ask Lamar to save us from the incompetence that we're seeing? Shout out to your name tree because he sees this too. He sees this too. He even called for it. He said, I don't care if the Ravens win this game. Harbaugh's got to go. And even after we won, he sat back and said both Nick Sirianni and John Harbaugh being saved from their own incompetence by generational talent. And that's exactly what's happening. How many times are we going to play the Lamar Save Us show? We've played that tune. We have played the Lamar Jackson Save Us show. That's not going to get us wins in January. It's not. It's not going to get you to the Super Bowl. Just putting everything on your quarterback and saying save us every single week. That's not going to get you to the promised land. But we keep doing it. Very interesting how that works. So like Lamar usually does, he goes out there, saves the day, makes a great throw on 3rd and 7. Once again, shout out to Zay Flowers for making that catch. And then on 2nd and 9, he pulled off the greatest fake of the regular season. Because everyone thought that was a sweep. Lamar literally held onto the ball until the last second. It really looked like it was a sweep to Justice Hill. He pulled that football back and then just took off. Picked up the first down, and that was all she wrote. Once again, Lamar Jackson saving the day, saving the season, getting us to 1-2, and keeping our hopes alive. To hope in terms of trying to turn this back around. If they can get to 3-2, they're perfectly fine. But Lamar Jackson doing his thing and making sure we got back into this season. So once again, it was another Lamar Jackson save us moment, and he did. So shout out to Lamar for that. That was pretty much all she wrote about this game. Press conference. Let me check. There may have been some things that were said in the press conference. Oh, look who's live. Marlon Humphrey's live. I know he's getting cooked on IG for some reason, I guess. Oh, look, Shannon Sharpe actually speaking factual. But again, I think everybody knew that. Mahomes is not playing well in the first 3 games of the season. Mahomes doesn't play well at all. But they're still winning football games. Just wait until he starts playing well. You're not beating him after that. Oh, man, it's unfortunate, though. It's unfortunate. But just taking a look at some of the things that was said in the press conference. Yeah, Lamar Jackson saying we got to finish. That's what he has to say every week. Lamar praising Derrick Henry. Lamar actually did give a shout out to Falele for his performance, so I guess that helps the confidence in Falele. But like I said, at the end of the day, Falele, they're gonna keep him in there. He's gonna have to produce. We may have personal issues against him because of how poor he's played, but if they're gonna keep him in, he has to produce, and he produced today. So give him some credit for producing. Give him his credit for how he played today. Oh, Baltimore's the most penalized team in the NFL by volume. Oh, perfect. By EPA, they've taken a touchdown off the board on offense and given their opponents one defensively. With 3 consecutive one-possession contests, this team is going to give more games away unless they get things cleaned up. They've been horrible. But you haven't seen anything majorly said that needs to be spoken of. But, yeah. I don't think there's anything to really say in the press conference here. That was pretty much the game, man. Ravens offense dominating for 3 quarters and then getting conservative in the 4th quarter because Harbaugh never learns his lesson. Ravens defense making stops in the first 3 quarters and then absolutely collapsing in the 4th quarter because apparently our secondary can't cover. John Harbaugh's incompetence showing up. Penalties happening all over the damn place. Some of those penalties didn't feel warrant. Like the roughing the passer call was just stupid. The roughing the passer call was so damn dumb. But you know they're gonna find any sort of excuse to call that. But it was such a stupid penalty. That was not roughing the passer, man. It's not roughing the passer. Even the commentators were saying that's not roughing the passer. That shouldn't have been a call. It's a bad call. But guess what? The refs are out here to just screw people over and make stupid calls whenever they can. You just got to play through it. You can't let that affect you. But that's pretty much everything that happened in this game and everything that we need to speak of for the most part. Obviously, guys, despite the win, we will have our therapy session. Ravens week 3 therapy session has not gone anywhere. I hope you guys realize that. All right, we're doing these therapy sessions every single week. So even though we've got to win, this week, we will still have our therapy sessions. I'm just putting this out there. So obviously this week we'll have our therapy sessions to talk about things that were good in this game. So we can at least, it'll be nice to have a therapy session where we can actually talk about some positives. Because the first 2 weeks, it was nothing but negatives. But we can actually walk into the therapy room this week and talk good about the Ravens. They finally used Derrick Henry the right way. Henry looked great. Lamar did his thing. We saw some nice things from the defense. The good news is our front 7 look solid. They look great. We were worried about the pass rush, and they look great. They look absolutely great, and I love that that's the case. So we got some good things to talk about for our therapy session, but there's still some problems that need to be discussed. I would have loved to have gone into this week 3 therapy session with us just dominating the Cowboys and not having to worry. But because it's the Ravens, there's always something to worry about, and that's something we have to talk about this week. Let me take a look at some of these comments here. Unfortunately, I probably really should have went and got my glasses. So excuse me while I have to blindly look closely into my chat here as I talk. I'll have the mic here, but I have to slowly look in. Yeah, my Giants helping the Ravens today. Thanks for helping us. Yeah, appreciate you guys beating the Browns. That's been fun. Still one Harb's gone for years. Ravens haven't been able to close out 4th quarters. We're the worst 4th quarter football team in the NFL. Since 2021, no one has blown more 7-point 4th quarter leads than us. Nobody has done that worse than us. And it's been very funny watching that happen under Harbaugh. And then people not holding him accountable for that happening. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. If Washington beats the Bengals, their season might be over for real. Yeah, I mean, if they go just like us, if we would have lost this game, our season's most likely over. If Cincinnati goes down 0-3, I don't know if they come back from that. Because they still have to face off against us. Wait, we're week 5. We got them after we got the Bills. Let me look at the Bengals schedule. I want to see who they go up against after the Commanders. Week 3, they have the Commanders. Week 4, they have the Panthers. Okay, listen, they can still get back into this. Because let's say this. Let's say they beat the Commanders. They'll be 1-2. Then they got the Panthers. If they beat the Panthers, they're 2-2. My suspicion is that Baltimore will find a way to pull off a miraculous win against the Bills. The Bengals will beat the Commanders and the Panthers. And week 5 between the Ravens and Bengals, both teams will be at 2-2. And at the end of that game, somebody's going back to being down 500 and somebody being down under 500. And someone's going to be over 500. That's my prediction here. But who knows how this is going to go. But yeah, I assume they're going to beat the Commanders. But I'm going to be here. We'll see it tomorrow night. I'll be rooting for the Commanders. I'm hoping for everything to go in the way of the Commanders. Hopefully their offense can actually put up some touchdowns, man. We need it. King Henry's back. He never went anywhere. The Ravens were just not using him the right way. If you utilize Derrick Henry the right way, you'd see he still has it. So, it is what it is. Steelers and Chiefs currently undefeated in the AFC. Seattle and Vikings, NFC undefeated. Wow, really? We're down to 4? Oh, wait, well, the Chiefs lose this game, we'll be down to 3. But we're really down to 4 undefeated teams right now. Damn. This season's unpredictable then. How long did it take before we got... maybe last year... I think last year might have actually been faster. Through 3 weeks. I'm trying to really think. Because it feels like we got cut down to the undefeated teams very quickly. And if the Chiefs lose to the Falcons here, there'll only be 3 undefeated teams. Can you imagine the Pittsburgh Steelers being the number 1 seed through 3 weeks of football? And you'll look at the teams they play and you'll be like, none of them are really impressive. But still, who cares? You play who's in front of you. This is what happens when your team gets too bougie. Don't kick the field goal, Saints. Well, that's the Saints' fault for blowing that game. Should have kicked the field goal instead of going for it on 4th and 1. Brandon Stevens, Marcus Williams, and Malik Harrison, 3 worst players on defense, I guess. Bills are kind of our kryptonite. Wouldn't necessarily say that. I give that to the Chiefs. I can't say the Bills are kind of our kryptonite. I think we played them 3 times. I think they got the advantage because we choked that 17-point lead. But we beat them the first time. They beat us in the playoffs. And then the third time, we blew it at home. We choked a 17-point lead. So I guess that's the third time. But I can't really say they're our kryptonite because Josh Allen, go look at Josh Allen's performance against the Ravens defense. He has not really performed well. Though with those defenses, it was different than the defense you'll face off against next week. But Josh Allen has not really performed at a extremely high level or put up monster numbers against the Ravens defense. And Lamar has done relatively well against the Bills defense, though I think it's been about half and half because he's made some turnovers, he's made some great plays. So I don't even think I can sit back and say they're kind of a kryptonite. If you're talking about Ravens kryptonite, you would mention either the Steelers or the Chiefs. Those are the 2 teams in contention for being our kryptonite. That looks like a pick, and that is a pick. Kirk Cousins got hit. Oh, they lateral it back. Kirk Cousins got hit as he threw it, and I knew the interception was coming. Nobody's surprised. I'm telling you, man. This is all on Harbaugh. We only passed 5 times in the second half. That's ridiculous. I didn't mind not passing in the third quarter because, again, running the ball with Derrick Henry, he was dominating. Running the ball was fine. In the third quarter, it was fine. But in the fourth quarter, I would like to have seen them continue to get aggressive. Still run the ball, but initiate the play-action passing. You continue to roll Lamar out. Roll him to the left. Roll him to the right. Utilize your tight ends. We didn't do any of that. You didn't need to throw the ball down the field. You have the tools of that. Why wasn't Likely involved? Why wasn't Andrews involved? You roll Lamar out to his left or to his right on the play-action passing game, and you have one of your tight ends break out. Should be a quick throw to Andrews or a quick throw to Likely. Where was that? It wasn't there. And I don't understand what we're out here doing. It's just ridiculous at this point. It's ridiculous how we weren't prepared to pass the football in the fourth quarter when the formula's there. If you're going to have Lamar under center handing the ball off to Henry, you can initiate the play-action passing game and get your tight ends involved. It's like we have to tell the Ravens piece by piece, okay, now that you did this with Derrick Henry, you got to do this with Andrews and Likely. Maybe if you're going to have Lamar under center handing the ball off to Derrick Henry, which is exactly what you need to do, next up, initiate the play-action passing, get your 2 tight ends involved, and throw them the ball. Did you see that play they did with Charlie Kolar? Why didn't we get more passing plays like that? Why do we keep not doing things that are working? Why do we ignore things like that? I don't understand. I don't understand, man. This offense has the keys to really put the pressure on teams, and we're not fully maximizing anything. Today was the first glimpse of what we can do offensively. If we can do what we did with Derrick Henry, while also bringing along Isaiah Likely and Derrick Henry and getting our receiving core involved, dude, there's nobody that can stop us but ourselves. But we just week to week, it feels like they're still trying to figure out what they're doing. As Mahomes floats it to nobody. Incomplete. 3rd down. 15 seconds left. They're going to most likely kick a field goal here. Bateman's still soft. He got the touchdown. Give him his credit. You can call him soft, but at least he performed out there. So I'm going to give the man his credit. I don't care how y'all feel about it. You think if the Cowboys completed the comeback that Hartz would have got fired tonight? No. They wouldn't have fired him. They wouldn't have. Zay Flowers on that onside kick was bad. I don't even know why he's out there. He's not a special teams player. Special teams, where is Tylan Wallace? That's a fantastic question. Why isn't Tylan Wallace in that case? What happened to him? The Ravens have only used 3 receivers. I have not seen Tylan Wallace on the field once. He is activated. He has been activated. It's not like he's one of the people. He's not on the practice squad. And he's not one of the people that they put on their list for teams for players that are not playing today. He's activated. He's just sitting on the bench doing nothing. They don't play this guy. What's the point? They play 3 receivers. What are they doing? If you're not even going to play him out there, at least have him on special teams. At least you're not the Browns. Man, we lost to the Raiders last week. We don't have any room to laugh. The same Raiders that got smoked by the Panthers, we lost to them after blowing a 10-point lead at home. We don't have any room to laugh. If we were sitting there 2-1, by all means, we'd laugh because our only loss was against Kansas City. But we blew it. We blew a 10-point lead to the Raiders. Worst secondary in the league, and 2 of the bums are the highest paid players on the team. That's funny. Man, next game's going to be long to watch. Prepare for Josh Allen to smoke that secondary. Josh Allen's going to he's going to put up numbers. Ooh, we could predict that, man. I'm telling you, over 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. Josh Allen will finish the game with 4 total touchdowns. I don't know how our offense is going to look, but he's smoking that secondary. Ravens offense better come to play. You're going to need 30-plus to win this game. I can tell you that right now. Roquan doing too much pass coverage than blitz. Marlon Humphrey's just out there. He's just out there hanging around, I guess. Yeah, Justin Tucker's looking bad, man. He's got to work on it, bro. His accuracy is just gone. I don't know what to do. His accuracy is shot. He's got to figure it out. Yep, Raiders got cooked by the Panthers. That shows how bad coaching has been. It's just pathetic at this point. Ravens training needs to be more intensive for them to play well in all 4 quarters. Yeah, I'm sure that's it. They just need more intense training. They need discipline. Which I guess you could say intense training could help with that, but all in all, they look at this. Mahomes has a passer rating of 71. He's 17 of 27. He's missed 10 throws. A touchdown. Mahomes has not played well in 3 weeks. He hasn't played well. But he has 3 rings, so it don't matter. Mahomes has 3 rings. He can play like trash all he wants. They're winning the football games. I just want to make sure people know that Patrick Mahomes is not playing good football right now. He's not. He is not playing good football. Do not lie to yourself. For his standards, he's not even coming close to playing good football. Yet, despite him not playing good football, the Chiefs are undefeated. So the three-peat's coming. Just prepare for that. The Chiefs are going to three-peat. Mahomes is playing the worst football of his career, and they're winning football games. They're going to three-peat. Just wait. It takes some time. Okay, it takes some time. Come back in December, you're going to watch this Chiefs offense. Come back in January, they're going to be flawless in the postseason. Mahomes, I'm going to make a prediction. Mahomes is not going to turn the ball over in the postseason this year. He's not. Not once is he going to turn the ball over. 13 is ridiculous, man. They can't stop committing penalties. Head coach is the major problem. Yeah, effort in training will make a difference. More effort in training will make a difference. Roquan Smith is overweight and not playing well. He's not looking like an all-pro linebacker right now. He's just been missing kicks, dude. I don't know what happened to Tucker, bro. We've been saying that Father Time may have come and snatched Tucker's leg. Well, his leg is still there for the power, but in terms of accuracy, low-key, that accuracy might be gone. The football gods may have come in and just taken that man's accuracy. The end is near for Justin Tucker's career, man. We're feeling it. Crazy thing is, Henry could do that every game if we call the right plays. Dude, he had 25 carries. We're not asking for him to get 25 carries every game. You know that. I said 17 to 22 carries a game is perfectly fine for Derrick Henry. But the way they utilized him, that is how you utilize him. That's how he dominated in Tennessee. The way they utilized Derrick Henry today is the way they need to utilize him every week. That is how he dominated when he was with the Titans. That's how you have to utilize him. So the Ravens have got that figured out. If they choose to do it on a week-to-week basis, which you can't trust them to do that. But if they do, on a week-to-week basis, utilize Henry that way, their next task is to find a way to get Andrews and Likely involved. If they can do that, we'd be much better. In the play-action passing game, the tight ends need to be targeted. That's the money game. Bro, you have 2 tight end sets out there. You run 12 personnel, Derrick Henry in the backfield, Lamar under center, a play-action pass. The way you rolled Kolar out and he got 30 yards, they should have been doing that a lot more in this game. Watch that work out. Do that with Andrews. Do that with Likely. Those are the type of plays. Rolling out and getting Lamar a quick throw to Kolar. If you do the same play with Likely and the same play with Andrews a few times in the game, you're going to get huge yardage. You're going to make plays. You might even get a touchdown out of it. That's what you need to see. The offense is still a work in progress. But at least they found a way to properly utilize Derrick Henry. Now, if they can only figure out how to properly utilize their tight ends, we'd be going somewhere. Roughing the passer call on Adafe was a joke. Some of these penalty calls are suspicious. There's nothing we can do about it. Nothing we can do about it, man. Harbaugh is at fault for fourth quarter blown leads. Yeah, it's been happening for years. It is what it is. Yeah, of course the O-line wasn't going to change. You thought he was going to bring in Ben Cleveland. He wasn't going to do it. There's no way he was going to do it. Miss Mike McDonald for real. He put on so many masterclass last season. Well, he's got his Seattle Seahawks balling out. Did they win their game? I want to make sure they did. Did Seattle win their game? Seattle. Damn, I can't find. Let me see. Let me check. Yeah, they stopped the. I know Tua's not there, but they smoked the Dolphins 24-3. They're 3-0. Mike McDonald has his team cruising right now, and we're dealing with the idiocy and incompetence of John Harbaugh. God help us all. Ravens need to play better during the fourth quarter next weekend. Trust me, they play like this next weekend, they're getting smoked by the Bills. Got conservative. Same thing Harbaugh has done his whole career. He needs to go. Not changing, and he's not going anywhere, unfortunately. Zachary Orr is not Mike McDonald, but it's a tremendous Ravens player. Again, Mike McDonald didn't start out killing it with a defense. People forget what he did early on in the 2022 season. He was poor. The secondary was the worst in football during this time. It took time for Mike McDonald to get to where he needed to get to. It took a whole year to truly see Mike McDonald get in his bag and become a great defensive coordinator. So I'm going to give the leniency to Zachary Orr and say he needs time to get to where he needs to get to before we give a full assessment on him. That's just me. That's just me for the most part. But, it is what it is. Ah, man. No huddle offense thanks to Harbaugh. Yeah, we don't even play with tempo time. We didn't run no huddle, not once. We have a serious head coaching problem. Not going to change, unfortunately. Ravens need a new head coach. Really dislike John Harbaugh. He's not going anywhere. Get used to it. Both Nick Sirianni and John Harbaugh getting criticized. Yeah, because they do the same dumb things. Go ask Philly how they feel about Sirianni right now. Go ask Philadelphia Eagles fans how they feel about Nick Sirianni. They'll tell you the same thing. To me, this win feels like a loss after what we just witnessed. It doesn't feel like a loss. It feels like we survived. We didn't win the game. We survived. So it doesn't feel like a loss. It feels like, woo, we survived this one. Harbaugh will never get criticism yet. Every time we lose, the media and casuals talk about Lamar. Because he's a superstar and a two-time MVP. And apparently the media is going to blame the player before they blame the coach. That's just how it is. Steelers deserve an apology from the entire NFL. I mean, I guess, but I already. At the end of the day, I've given the Steelers their credit. I mean, if you've been here on the channel, I've given the Steelers their credit and say the Ravens could learn a thing or two from the Steelers because the Steelers play smart, competent football. They're not playing special football. Their offense doesn't look explosive or great, but they're not hurting themselves. They play smart, competent football, and they lean on their strengths, which is the defense and the running game. And Justin Fields makes smart throws for them. They tell Justin Fields to go out there and make sure you don't be the primary reason we lose games, and he's doing that. Everything they wanted to get from Justin Fields, he's doing that for the most part. Everything they got from their defense is a big factor in why they're winning these games. The Steelers are just playing smart, competent football. If you do that in this league, you're going to win football games. And that's what the Steelers do. That's why Mike Tomlin deserves his credit. Doesn't matter how many points we put up when no one can score on us. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. The offense may not be great, but the defense is doing their job. As long as that defense does their job, they're not going to worry. Watch Harbaugh get praised by the media tomorrow. Who knows, probably. Even though Nate was getting cooked, good to see him getting reps against the best receivers. Hopefully that plays off. Honestly, Nate Wiggins wasn't getting completely cooked. I mean, well, technically with those penalties. Woo, if it wasn't for the holding call, they would have been able to score a touchdown before halftime. It would have been 26. It would have been 21-10 instead of 21-6. Either way, Nate Wiggins, he made a huge play knocking the ball out of CeeDee Lamb's hand. That changed the game early on for us. So shout out to Nate Wiggins. We need to give Henry the ball 30 times next week if we want to win. You can't give him the ball 30 times next week. The Bills' defense is not going to allow you to hand the ball to Derrick Henry 30 times and expect him to dominate. That's not going to work out. 17-22 is the good spot for Derrick Henry. 17-22, that area is good for him. If you got to go up to 25 like today, it can still work out. But you can't give him 30. I just wish I knew what the problem is with the defense. Come on. Come the fourth quarter. Just seems like the offense lets off the gas and the defense gets passive. I mean, that's been happening for years. That's been happening for years under John Harbaugh. It was happening when Flacco was here, and it's happening now that Lamar's here. Ain't nothing changed on the Harbaugh. It's been the same thing. It's a big part of why he constantly gets outcoached by Mike Tomlin. And Tomlin, dude, when Tomlin exposed this and everyone just ignored it, that was the craziest thing to me. He talks about how we do the same things. We make the same mistakes. We do the same thing. He knows what we're going to do come fourth quarter. If we have a lead, he knows how we're going to play come fourth quarter. And it's the exact same thing we do. And that's why we always lose to the Steelers. Harbaugh doesn't change, and Harbaugh doesn't change. It's the same thing, and Mike Tomlin has played against Harbaugh enough to know what this guy likes and doesn't like. So guess what? As soon as the fourth quarter hits, he knows he has this team beat. All the Steelers have to do is keep it close against the Ravens in the fourth quarter, and they're going to win that game. Because Harbaugh's going to crap himself again, get out coached, and Mike Tomlin's going to watch that, knowing that this is what this guy does, and they're going to find a way to beat him. It also helps that Marlon Humphrey just loves to get cooked at the worst possible moments. God help me if I see enough. You know, it's not even going to be Marlon Humphrey this year. It's going to be Brandon Stevens this time getting cooked by George Pickens. I just know it's going to happen. I'm already prepared myself. I know. Harm's been trash in OT, fourth quarter, and close games. All bad records in those. Is anybody surprised? With his lack of incompetence in these big moments, and the fact that he's constantly getting outcoached, is anybody surprised by that? The fact that he has bad records in fourth quarter, overtime, and close games. Nobody's shocked at this point. Hey, Real, I'm curious. Which 3-0 team is the most surprising? Steelers, Vikings, or Seahawks? Vikings. I looked at the Steelers and said if they play competent football with that defense, they would be potentially 3-0. I'm not surprised. The Steelers play competent football. They play smart, competent football. That is exactly why they always have a chance to win week to week. That, and they have arguably the best defense in football. With the best defensive player in football, without a question, in TJ Watt. That defense always gives them a chance to win. All they need is for their offense to not hurt them, not put them in bad positions, and not turn the ball over. And that's exactly what they're getting right now offensively. Because of that, the Steelers are winning football games. The Steelers are a smart organization, and Tomlin is a great coach. When there's no drama with the Steelers and they just play competent football, they're going to win a lot. Are they going to win a Super Bowl this way? No. But they're going to win a lot of football games. So I'm not surprised to see that. Seattle, I'm also not surprised. I sat back and said, I've been on record saying when Mike Macdonald went to Seattle, I said he's going to change life for Seattle. So I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that the Vikings are 3-0 with Sam Darnold. That's a huge shocker. Never would have thought the Vikings would have been 3-0 with Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold leading the league in touchdown passes, didn't expect that through 3 weeks. So easily it's the Vikings. I expected to see this with the Seahawks. You get a guy like Mike Macdonald with his defensive mindset. He was a defensive genius last year. You bring the defense back to Seattle and change life for them? Nah, I'm not surprised by that. I'm surprised by Sam Darnold leading the league in touchdown passes and the Vikings being 3-0. Without question. I hope fans are not getting complacent from this win. Dude, why would the Ravens get complacent? People are still saying fire Harbaugh even after this. Where would you get the idea that any fans complacent with this win? Go and look at the comment sections of the Ravens Twitter when they're posting, when they posted the Ravens win. People are still calling for Harbaugh's head. Ain't nobody getting complacent. Nobody was satisfied with this win. Everybody's pissed off that we're still making these same mistakes and they want Harbaugh gone. Nobody's complacent with this win. Everybody wants Harbaugh gone right now. Harbaugh's at fault for the fourth quarter chokes, but they wrote an article with a picture of Lamar Jackson on the cover because Lamar is the face of the franchise. Media's framing it as fun, and so readers will associate the failures with Lamar because he's the face of the franchise, and that's what they're going to do. He's a 2-time MVP. That's just how it is. The media knows what's going to bring the attention of people. Putting John Harbaugh's face there is not going to generate attention. Putting Lamar's face there will. They know what they're doing. They're smart. Lamar had a 96 QBR, and Harbs is still almost wrecked. Yeah, Lamar had a 96 QBR. He had a passer rating of 139. He did what he needed to do. He's the reason we won this game overall. Him and Derrick Henry. What does John Harbaugh even do when things aren't working? He just talks to someone in his headset and can't do anything. When things aren't working, he puts his hands up and acts shocked. That's what John Harbaugh does every time. The pictures are all over social media if you want to see the same stupid shocked look on his face. And we can say it because everyone's seen it. I don't know why he has the same look on his face when the team's actively choking. Like he can't do anything about it as the head coach. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Francisco Lamar threw below 200. He didn't do anything really but run on a bad Cowboys defense. Henry was the key. Lamar made a couple nice throws, but honestly, Lamar made a couple nice throws, but it was one of those days where he did need to run. This game was similar to other than the Ravens choking, this performance was similar to Josh Allen's performance against the Dolphins, where Josh Allen didn't really need to do much in the passing game because Cook was absolutely smoking the Dolphins defense. When you're running the ball for over 200 yards, you're not going to pass for a lot. When Josh Allen the other day, was it Thursday Night Football last week? Last Thursday Night Football, or was it Thursday Night Football beforehand? Josh Allen didn't throw for 200 yards. It was because Cook was smoking that Dolphins defense. If the running game is effective and you run for over 200, you're not throwing for 200 plus. That's always been the case. Why are we arguing this? I don't understand why people don't get that. If you're rushing for over 200 yards, there's only so many plays you can have in a football game, and there's only so many yards you can get in a football game. If you're running the ball for over 200 yards, chances are you're not going to pass for over 200 yards either. That's just chances are that's the case, and that's how it's going to end up. That's a high percentage chance that if you run the football for over 200 yards, you're not going to pass for over 200 yards. Now, I don't know if the Bills ran for over 200 yards. I know they ran for over 100 yards, but Josh Allen didn't pass for over 200 yards, and he only had one passing touchdown. But that was all that was needed because the running game was killing the Dolphins. If the running game is successful, the passing game doesn't need to take over. That's just how football is. But that doesn't mean Lamar wasn't a part of this. Lamar had 87 rushing yards and the rushing touchdown too. So it was Lamar and Derrick Henry. Those were the two players that won us the game. Lamar and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry crushing it. Lamar doing his thing in the run and pass game. And at the end of the day, Lamar getting that pass to Zay Flowers to convert the first down, and Lamar pulling off the fake to end the game. That's factors that led to the win. It was Lamar and Henry. You can make arguments of who deserves more credit between the two, but it was Lamar and Henry that won us the game. Mike Tomlin is to Harbaugh what Bill Belichick is to Mike Tomlin. That's funny. They need to give Derrick Henry the ball 25 plus times, or give the ball 25 times next week versus the Buffalo Bills. I wouldn't have a problem with it. I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with it, but it has to be smart in terms of how that's going to go. You know, you can't just give them 25, and if nothing's happening in the run game, you just keep feeding them. They have to be smart with how they're going to utilize it. The GM uploaded a video saying Harbaugh is getting exposed right now. What? But as far as I'm concerned, he had already been exposed in 2021. 8-3 start, Lamar. The GM uploaded the video. The GM? What GM? The Ravens GM? Eric DeCosta uploaded the video saying that? Who specifically uploaded that? Because there's no way our GM uploaded that. Should the Ravens fire Harbs this offseason and go for Bobby Slow? I think they can look for anybody they want to go for. Shout out to Demon Reacts with the $5 donation. I appreciate it, brother. I know we won, but we need a lot of changes. We were up 28-6, and we nearly blew it. We've been choking games for a long time, but this needs to stop. Absolutely, I agree with you, Demon Reacts. This needs to stop. We cannot continue to choke games and blow leads like this. We nearly lost this game. We cannot continue to let this happen. It's going to cost you against superior competition. When you're going up against tougher teams, when you're going up against better teams, you're going to lose. Like I said just before I cut off the live stream, I sat back and said if the Ravens were up by 12 instead of 22, they would have lost this game. If they were up by 12 instead of 22, they would have lost this game. But they were up by 22, so they barely survived. If they were up by 12, they would have lost this game. No question. I do think our defense still gives up big plays, though. I want Humphrey to leave, but I love the leadership he brings. What do you think? Yeah, the defense, the secondary is actually one of the worst, if not the worst secondary in football right now. Their pass defense is garbage, and they're getting cooked right now. In terms of total yards they've given up, they've been so poor, it's been embarrassing. And in terms of Marlon Humphrey, he hasn't been terrible. He hasn't been great. He's been decent. And considering the fact that he's supposed to be one of the best corners in football, for him to be decent is unacceptable. And there's no injury excuse this year. Marlon Humphrey is 100% healthy. So for him to be 100% healthy and really playing the way he's played to an extent, because I don't think he's played awful, but it hasn't been as great as you want him to be. Like, he hasn't been a lockdown corner. He's given up. He's given up some big plays and has gotten beaten at times. You would hope to see better performances from him overall. You expect him to at least be elite now that he's healthy. That's not the case. He's not even close to his all-pro self. Not even remotely close to that. But Humphrey's not leaving. I don't think they're gonna give that up. I just don't see them giving that up. Cowboys' run defense is awful. Yep, that's why the Saints ran all over them, and that's why we ran all over them. Especially now since the league is running 2 high safeties now to keep this stuff in front. Why would you not run the ball? Again, they're running 2 high safeties to force offenses to run the football. They're running 2 high safeties because they understand that by running that, the quarterback can't throw the ball over your head. They're running 2 high safeties to tell the quarterback, you're not throwing the ball over our head. Nobody's getting behind us defensively. We're not allowing that to happen. We want you to run the ball. We're running 2 high safety because we want to force you to run the football. And if you can beat us running the football, so be it. And a lot of teams aren't going to win games by trying to win the football because a lot of teams don't have great running games. If you do have a great running game, it works out for you. And then they have to switch it up from those 2 high safeties, which could open it up for you in the pass game, especially downfield. That's just how it is. Really funny considering the Steelers are 3-0 right now. Not really. Again, it's not really, I wouldn't say it's funny or really crazy. Playing smart, competent football will go a long way. You'd be surprised how many teams can win by just playing smart, competent football. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. If you play smart, competent football, you will always have a chance to win. And that's what the Steelers do. That's why they always have chances to win. Mahomes trying to score here on 3rd and goal. Nobody's open. He's going to be taken down. Yep, 4th down here. Kansas City's going to have to kick a field goal. There's a Ravens YouTube that calls himself the GM. That's why, man. I was about to say, the way you said it, the GM was over here criticizing Lamar. I'm like, what? DaCosta? There's no way he was doing that. What's going on to my guys at the lunch break? Hot take. I know this got to be a good Sunday for y'all because both the Ravens and the Panthers won. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna have to check out y'all later on because I want to hear Rodney's discussion on the Panthers because I have to know. There's no way. I understand it's year 2 and Bryce Young has his issues. But how does Andy Dalton take the same offensive line, the same weapons, which again, they improved the offensive line. You guys did that. How does he take the same weapons and offensive line and perform at that high of a level? Whereas Bryce Young couldn't generate anything going offensively. No touchdowns from Bryce Young in the first 2 games, but in the first half of this game, Andy Dalton has 3 touchdowns. How is it that big of a difference? That is crazy. That is crazy to see Andy Dalton take that exact same Panthers team and play at that high of a level. I can't lie. Bryce's confidence is shot. If he has any talent left, it's shot. I haven't seen anything from him, even from last year, that makes me think he's great. Haven't seen a lot of great things from him. I've barely seen some good things from him. But man, if he had any confidence left, that's gone. That is gone. There's no way another quarterback comes in and performs at such a high level with the exact same roster you were struggling to move the ball with. That's crazy. Yeah, Bryce just isn't good. Yeah, the film shows it. There's times where the offensive line was giving him protection and he just wasn't reading the field. He either wasn't reading the field properly, he wasn't seeing it. When the pressure was coming and he had time to throw the ball away, he didn't throw the ball away. We saw him trying to, I'm never going to forget it last week. Him rolling to his left, trying to make a play down the field with pass rushers in his face. And it's like he didn't notice they were there. I don't know, bro. The whole Bryce Young experience, man, it's not gone well. I think they said he was open for anything. He was open to anything, including getting traded. Him getting out of Carolina might have to work out. It's not going to work out with him here in Carolina. They have to start exploring their options with that. But at the same time, I don't know what franchise would look to trade for Bryce Young because, again, he has not put a lot of positive tape. out there for them to even look at. Like, you have to show something. You have to show something that would make a franchise sit back and say, you know what? He has some issues that can be fixed, but he is showing us here, like this, what he does here. Whether it's his arm strength, whether it's his decision making, whether it's his ability to make plays off platform, there has to be something a quarterback has to show you on the film that would make a franchise want to trade for Bryce. And I don't know if there's anything out there from the film that makes you want to do that. Yeah, it might be over for Bryce. I don't know. I hope he gets a chance somewhere else potentially, because it's just not gonna work out in Carolina. It's just not. How does Las Vegas beat the Raiders then go on to lose the Panthers? Because it's any given Sunday and the Ravens choke the 10-point lead. It is what it is. In reality, what do you think our record is by the end of the season? I had us around 11-6 or 12-5. I've been on record saying through 5 games I thought we would be 3-2. If they beat the Bills and the Bengals, we'll be right on schedule with what I thought. Then again, I said we would lose to the Chiefs and potentially the Bills, and that would be our 2 losses. I would have us beating the Raiders, the Cowboys, and the Bengals to be 3-2. But I thought those 2 matchups early on, they might get the best of us. That's why I had us at 3-2 after 5 games. But now they got to beat the Bills in order to match my prediction, and then beat the Bengals afterwards to match my prediction. If we're sitting here at 3-2 after 5 games, my record prediction of 12-5 will still hit. Because I think the last 3 losses will be to Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh. But I thought the 2 losses we would have would be to Kansas City and Buffalo. I thought we would beat the Texans, which again we'll see. I thought we'd beat the Eagles, which again we'll see. And I think both those teams showed they have some weaknesses. And I think we have a shot with those. So I had us around 12-5, maybe 11-6. I'm still going to keep us there. We'll see what happens. If they beat the Bills, they'll be at 2-2. But I had us at 12-5, no matter how these situations looked. I'm going to keep us there for now. If we win and we're 12 and we're 2-2, that's cool. If we were 1-3, now I gotta start reevaluating my records, because now it's looking bad. So glad Lamar clutched up at the end. Yeah, shout out to Lamar. My brother's a Panthers fan. I assume he's numb to this style of weirdness. At this point, you got to. Andy Dalton is a very good backup quarterback at this stage of his career. Yes, he is. Last year's Ravens team clearly better than this year's team. Arguments can be made, but like I said, Kevin, through 5 games, the Ravens were 3-2. Their 2 losses were to the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Indianapolis Colts. We didn't even know what the Ravens would be after 5 games. And then when they went to 4-2, they went all the way to London to take on the Titans. They didn't look great after that Titans game. The Ravens had to take a long time. They didn't start looking like a legit Super Bowl contending team until December. December is where we started to say this team could compete for a title. But between September all the way to November, we had questions about these guys. It wasn't until December. So I can't compare last year and this year's team until we get to December and see where our record's at. Still think the Bengals will win the division. Second will be the Steelers. Well, we'll have to see. Like I said, they're fighting with us. They're fighting with everyone. They're fighting with us. They're fighting with the Browns. They're fighting with Steelers to try to get the division. Maybe they pull it off. Maybe they don't. I don't know. I still picked the Ravens to win the division. I have not given that up. I picked them to win the division beforehand. I'll stick with it. But we got a long way to go before we can take this division. It is very cool if the Panthers win the division. NFC South will, with Andy Dalton, I don't see them winning that division. But, we'll see. I think the Bucs and the Saints will probably have a better chance of winning that. And maybe the Falcons can sneak into that too. But I don't know. The NFC South is very weird. The NFC South is very weird, and anyone can take it. What we working can be done with our secondary if Marlowe stays. Also, can it get worse if he leaves genuinely? My best hope is he becomes the slot corner, would give him more chances to punch the ball. Some reworking that can happen really has to deal with Zachary Orr's play calling. So I think that's an aspect in terms of certain coverages and certain schemes that he's thrown out there defensively. I think the defensive schemes and the defensive coverages can be reworked because the way it's going, they're leaving the middle of the field wide open. That's one. And another aspect that you talked about with Marlowe, I think they have to retool how they're utilizing some of their players. I think permanently, again, if Nate Wiggins, he gets himself healthy and he's cool, what needs to happen is you have Brandon Stevens on one side as an outside corner, Nate Wiggins as another side as an outside corner, and Marlowe works in the slot because Marlowe plays his best football as a corner in the slot position. So yeah, I think reworking some of these certain positions and how we're utilizing them, and then you would have to look at the coverages and the schemes, the defensive schemes that Zachary Orr's throwing out there, and that's kind of just has to be the overall element of work that needs to be done there. So there's a lot that needs to be done there. There's some work that needs to be showcased there. I think the Ravens will beat the Bills. We'll talk about that this week, but we got plenty of time. We can trade for Bryce and have him learn from Lamar. Why would we trade for Bryce? How does that help us win a Super Bowl this year? Why would we trade for another quarterback? That doesn't help us at all. It's about getting hot at the right time. Yeah, which we love to do in December. I don't think no one is a Super Bowl contender yet. Of course not. It's too early in the season to determine that. If we're going to base Super Bowl contenders off of 3 weeks, then right now the Vikings are the best team in football. Sam Darnold's an MVP candidate, or if not the MVP, and they're the Super Bowl contenders. The Niners are under 500 through 3 games. The Niners are under 500 through 3 games. The Ravens are under 500 after 3 games. The Bengals will be under 500 after 3 games. It's very weird, but we don't exactly know how things are going to go. So if we're only basing it off of 3 weeks, then yeah, by all means. By all means. That's just how it is, man. That is just how it is. Yeah, the Vikings are looking good right now. What's the score in the Falcons game? Kansas City up 16-14, and Kansas City has the ball right now. The NFC has gotten better, to be honest. I mean, yeah, it's been more competitive. And Chargers have a winning record. They are 2-1. Could have been 3-0, but they are 2-1. But the Chargers' problem is more severe than their record right now doesn't matter. Justin Herbert re-injured his ankle. We don't know how much time he's going to miss. That's a problem. Injuries, let me see, because Tua's not even a real injury. Tua's still technically an injury because it was a concussion, but quarterbacks are missing time due to injury now. Tua, with his concussion situation, he's going to be out for some time. Justin Herbert with an ankle sprain, that's a problem. You're missing time with that guy. Jordan Love seemed like he nearly dislocated his knee. It seems like he's fine. He might be back next week, but he missed time. Quarterbacks are missing time right now, and that's hurting teams. You don't know what you're getting from them. I don't get why the Steelers always get lucky wins. Man, it's not lucky wins, bro. I know people like to say it's lucky wins. Obviously, when it comes to football, there's always a level of luck with every single game. Luck always plays a role in every single game. But again, you cannot sit back and say what the Steelers are doing is luck. They're playing smart, competent football in the National Football League as a football team. If you don't have a lot of immense talent, the best way to win football games is playing smart, competent football. The Steelers have one of the best defenses in football with the best defensive player in the NFL in TJ Watt. They lean on their defense. When you have one of the best defenses in football, you lean on them. Offense, you've got to find a way to put up points, but the number one role when it comes to the offense is to make sure you do not put the ball in harm's way and make it difficult for the defense. That's what the Steelers have been doing. They have not been turning the ball over much. They have not been putting the defense in compromising positions. They have been doing their job. The defense leads the way for the Steelers. The offense makes sure they don't get in the defense's way. And they find a way to put points on the board, like they did in the Chargers game. They found ways to put up points on the board. They're playing smart, competent football. When you're a team that's disciplined, when you don't commit a lot of penalties, when you don't turn the ball over a lot, when you're not giving up big plays on the defensive side, when you are just playing smart, competent football, you'll win games in this league. And that's what the Steelers are doing. So don't take away what they're doing and say it's luck. That is a well-coached team. We need that discipline. We desperately need that discipline. That is a well-coached team right now. All right. Steelers is that team you don't want to let hang around for a while. They'll find a way to hang around. They will. They will find a way to hang around. Yeah, Mike Tomlin is certainly a good coach. As Mahomes scrambles and picks up a first down and more, and he's going to slide. Looking at the Dolphins' schedule, oh man, the Dolphins can literally go 2-4, 1-5 these next few games. They're not going to have Tua. They're not going to have Tua for at least another 2 games. Or maybe another 3 games. They're not going to have Tua for a while, so that's a problem. Tua needs to retire. His health is declining. Tua is a grown man and he gets to make his own decisions. And he'll make those decisions after talking with his family. And the decisions he made was to play. Tua is not retiring. He doesn't want to retire. He does not want to retire. It is his choice. Let the man live with his decision. He's fine with living with his decision. You can't tell a man how to live his life and what he can do. You can advise him, but at the end of the day, he makes a decision. And his decision is to continue to play football. When the Steelers are good, they're scary. Bro, if the Steelers ever get an explosive offense, they're going to win a Super Bowl. If they get an explosive offense with this defense, they're going to win a Super Bowl. Honestly, as a Steelers fan, Ravens have more talent, but they're more disciplined. Yep, the Steelers are more disciplined. We have more talent than the Steelers, but the Steelers are a more disciplined team. And in this league, when you're more disciplined, you tend to win football games because you're not hurting yourselves. And that's why the Ravens always lose to the Steelers. They're just a more disciplined team. They're more disciplined and they play more they play more complementary, competent football. As simple as that. We don't play competent football. We just say let's rely on Lamar Jackson and our talent to lead us to the promised land. We're an undisciplined football team that over-relies on our talent to get us to the promised land. That's not good enough. The Steelers are a team that doesn't have a lot of talent, but they're well-coached, they're disciplined, and they play to their strengths, and they don't hurt themselves. A competent football team will find a way to win in the National Football League. Today, though, we got a bunch of BS calls from Tolbert. That roughing the passer call on Owe was horrible, and the fact that Prescott threw the ball to an O-lineman to escape a safety as well. The refs have been awful, but there's nothing you can do about that. The refs' last two flags were awful, though. I would say that the last touchdown Dak scored contributed to that, so would it be kind of fair to discount the close loss a little? No, because penalties, there's always been bad penalties, there's always been bad calls. It's part of the game. You still have to stop them from scoring. The penalties suck. The penalties hurt, but you still have a job to do. And the job is to make sure a receiver is not wide open in the end zone, which clearly happened. We cannot use the refs as an excuse. We cannot use them as a shield to pretend like the defense didn't leave a receiver wide open in the end zone for a touchdown. The penalties hurt. They're unfair. They suck. The refs are doing a terrible job. But you can't let that stop you from still playing the game. You still have to go out there and make plays. We didn't. And Rashid Rice is down. I do not know what's wrong with him, but Rashid Rice is down. The Chiefs already have enough injuries. They can't afford any more. Isn't Pacheco out too? Because Hollywood Brown is out for the regular season. He might be back to the playoffs. Pacheco, I believe, he's dealing with an injury. He might be missing time. And now Rashid Rice is dealing with some injuries. Good God, what is this season turning into? Tomlin is simply a better coach than Harbaugh. Nobody's going to deny that. Harbaugh has much more talented rosters than Tomlin, still fails. Nobody's going to deny that. Ravens are finally 1-4 in away games officiated by... that's just how it is. It is what it is. I didn't know we were 1-4 in away games that officiated by him. It is what it is. Ravens are 6-6 all times in games officiated by Ron Tolbert. It is what it is. I'm not really concerned about those type of stats. But these refs are human too. They're going to make mistakes. That's how it's always been. So Pacheco's out for 6 to 8 weeks. Hollywood Brown's out for the whole regular season. And now Rashid Rice is down. Yeah, they're losing weapons. This is not a good thing. This is not a good thing for the Chiefs. It's all right. They have Sky Moore. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to help them. Travis Kelce better make an appearance now because they're running out of guys. They did bring back Kareem Hunt, so I guess he has to do something for them. But it is what it is. Kelce needs to step up. Kelce needs to do something. Hey, buddy, remember you're still supposed to be the best tight end in football. You want to help your MVP. You want to help your 3-time Super Bowl winning champion MVP quarterback here? You want to help the next future GOAT try to win these football games? Or you're just going to sit around and do nothing? Just because you've now earned the title of greatest tight end of all time, according to most people still give it to Gronk, but most people will say Travis Kelce has earned the title of greatest tight end of all time. Just because you've earned that title in most people's eyes, does not mean you can just stop and not do anything in the games. You think Lamar can act in a movie or show? I could care less if he can act in the movie or show. My focus is for this guy to help us win a Super Bowl. And that starts with winning games on Sunday, winning games on Monday, winning games on Thursday, and the occasional Saturday that we play. I don't care if Lamar can act or not. Me personally, I don't know. I don't know. Look at some of the commercials. Lamar doesn't have a lot of commercials, so you'd have to see there. Based on how you've seen him in some of the commercials, you would have to assess it there. But me personally, I could care less if he can act or not. That's a personal thing. It'd be cool to see him in the movie, I guess. You know, it's always nice to see celebrities and not celebrities. It's always nice to see athletes in movies, I guess. But I'm not really here to care about that. Anyway, 3rd and 7, blitz happening, and that's a touchdown for the Chiefs. And they're gonna extend their lead. That's perfect. Oh, look who scored, Juju Smith-Schuster. That's fun. Yeah, Chiefs are gonna win this game. As I get ready to get out of here, because once again, we've been here for 90 minutes. 90 minutes talking Ravens football, and I'm ready to head on out. Yeah, he can't even act like a good quarterback. That's great, Nikolai. That's great. Yep, Lamar's a terrible quarterback. You are 100% right. Let's move on to better things. Anyway, guys, I've been here for 90 minutes. I'm proudly going to end this. Besides, Ravens blowing leads. That 49ers unexpectedly blew it. I mean, it is what it is with the Niners. I don't know how they blew that lead, but that was crazy. But yeah, I've been here for 90 minutes. We've spoken our piece on the Ravens. Obviously, there'll be more to talk about and discuss in the therapy session this week. We got our therapy session. We'll air some more grievances out there. We'll speak on some other things. And then we'll be able to move on and prepare for week 4 because we've got Buffalo coming to Baltimore for Sunday Night Football. Did he make that? I think he made that. Extra point is good, but that was so close. Did he hit that? Oh, he didn't hit that. I think he hit the post. Oh, he hit the post. Oh, Butker hit the post. Oh, no. That makes it an 8-point game. That makes it an 8-point game. That's crazy. He hit the post. Besides, hold on. Was Juju released by some team and then claimed by KC? Yes, he was. So he's back on Kansas City. KC brought back Juju and KC brought back Kareem Hunt because because Pacheco's hurt and Hollywood Brown is not available for the regular season. Anywho, guys, as you can hear my voice, you can clearly tell it is starting to break up. I had to do nearly 4 hours of commentary for the Ravens-Cowboys game, and I have to sit here for another 90 minutes to give you a recap. Chiefs might win the Super Bowl again. Oh, I'm expecting them to win the Super Bowl again. The three-peat's happening. The script's already been out. The three-peat's happening. Does any team through 3 games look like they're going to be able to beat the Chiefs? You think the Vikings could do it until the Vikings reach that level of peak pain. You think Seattle may be able to do it until Seattle reaches that level of peak pain. All the teams that you thought would be contenders like the Ravens and Bengals, they're under 500 right now. We already know the three-peat's happening. The three-peat's happening, bro. Listen, we're sitting here just trying to enjoy football. Okay, it's September. Ain't nobody going out to no parties. Ain't nobody trying to live it up in September for the most part. Though, I mean, you can if you want to. But it's September. It's the perfect time to just be at home and watch football. That's what we're here to do. Sit at home, relax, and spend your Sundays watching football. You know, the MLB playoffs are getting ready to start. The WNBA playoffs started today, so that's cool. There's some other sports to watch, but when it comes to fall, most people's attention is on football. We already know. We already know the Chiefs are going to three-peat, but who cares? We'll be here for the three-peat, and we'll just officially declare Patrick Mahomes the GOAT. Okay, we know it's going to happen. As a Ravens fan, I know how the script ends for us. But do you think I'm not going to watch them play? Of course I'm going to watch them play. What else would I do with my Sunday? Then again, I'm probably going to hang out with my friends today. They did call me. Like, they called me and said, you want to hang out? I said, no, bro, I ain't hanging out nothing. I got a job to do. I didn't hang out with my friends today. I said, let me sit here and talk Ravens football with y'all. I could have gone out with them today. I said, nah, I got to be here. I already tell my friends they can't call me on Sundays. Like, I'm not available Sundays. I don't work on Sundays for the most. Actually, this year I actually do have to work on Sundays, but that's for a different reason. But I normally don't want to work on Sundays, and I don't go out on Sundays because Sunday's for football. He might have fumbled that. Falcons might have fumbled that. But That's just how it is. You know, we already know the script. We know Mahomes is going to three-peat. We're just here to enjoy football. And, you know, basketball will be on its way, too. MLB playoffs will be starting, which I hope the Dodgers win, man. As a Dodgers fan, it makes sense, bro. Ohtani's having a historical season. First ever player to pull off a 50-50. 50 stolen bases and 50 homers. Dude's insane. He's having a historical season. We're the 2 seed right now because the Phillies are still winning games. You know, I'm fine with the 2 seed. We don't need to be the number 1 seed. I'm fine with the 2 seed. We're not going to play in the wild card round, so that's cool. We'll play in that second round. We'll deal with it. We don't need to play in the wild card round. All I know is when the playoffs come around, we need to win. We need to be in the World Series. There's no way we sit back and let... First of all, I'm not even going to talk about let the Phillies beat us. Whoever's coming in that second round matchup, we got to win. But if it's the Phillies that we face off against afterwards for a chance to go to the World Series, there should be no reason we lose to the Phillies. Do you think the Orioles can make it to the World Series? No. It'd be cool. I'll show some love. I'll show some care. I'll show some support to the Orioles if they can get far. But to say they're going to make it to the World Series, I don't see it. I'm actually rooting for them to get past the first round this year. I'm actively rooting for them to get past the first round this year. But I don't see them making it to the World Series. To the playoffs? Oh, I think they can make it to the playoffs. I think they can make it to the playoffs. I think Baltimore can make it to the playoffs. I think the Orioles can make it to the playoffs, but I don't know. I think they can make it to the playoffs, and I give them a shot to make it out of the first round. Is it time to have the Justin Tucker conversation yet? We've had the Justin Tucker conversation tonight, but tune in this week when we have week 3 for the Ravens therapy session. We will have a week 3 therapy session for the Ravens where we will have some uncomfortable conversations about Justin Tucker. I hope it's Yankees versus Dodgers. If it's Yankees versus Dodgers, I swear to you, I will not feel comfortable. I will not feel comfortable. First, no, you have Ohtani here, and he has historical season. Technically, hold on, wait. Let me check this out. Because I'm pretty sure he's still leading in homers. I'm gonna check. Give me a second. He is! Bro, Aaron Judge is still leading by 2 homers. Ohtani has 53 and Judge has 55. Kid you not. First of all, Ohtani is there's like 6 games left. Ohtani is going to pass Judge. Ohtani is going to pass Judge in homers. That's my prediction. But if it's the Yankees, man, I got a lot of love for Aaron Judge, man, but no. I don't like the Yankees. The Red Sox and the Yankees, I hate both of them. Not to mention, Ohtani deserves a ring. Ohtani got to get a ring. As long as the Yankees, Astros, or Phillies don't go to the World Series, I'll be happy. I agree with you on that. If the Orioles somehow do win the World Series, do you think Santander or it's Henderson? It's going to be Henderson, no question. He's the best player on the team. Gunnar Henderson is the best player on the team. He's going to get it. It wouldn't even be a debate. It wouldn't even be a conversation. That's easily, without question, going to Henderson. He's the best player on the team. Not to mention, if they win a World Series, it's because he's playing his very best football. You know if they're winning a World Series, it's because Henderson played his best football. He would have to go on a historical postseason run in order for Baltimore to win a World Series. Looks like Taylor Swift's about to win another game. Good for her. I could care less. But yeah, I think I'm going to end it here, especially since we're talking about baseball. But yeah, the MLB postseason is kicking off. I'm trying to see right now. I think the Dodgers are playing tonight. No, we played back-to-back nights back when Ohtani made history. So let's see. The Phillies lost today to the Mets. That's perfect. Let me look at the standings. Because we've been fighting with these. Damn it, we still have the same records. You know, actually, no. No! Wait. We did play today. We played. Yes, we played today. Hold on. Give me a second. We did play today. We're number 1. We beat. Yes. We beat the Rockies. We beat them, and the Phillies lost, so we are now the number 1 seed. because we've been fighting the Phillies for that. So now we're the number 1 seed. We're 93 and 63. The Phillies are 92 and 64. So we are the 3 seed now. But here's the thing. This is the thing that sucks. It's such a close race in our division because the Padres are 90 and 66. They're right there. So, like, the Dodgers can't afford to slip up here. Even though we're the number 1 seed, we can't afford to slip up because the Padres are right behind us in our division. We haven't clinched the division yet. All right, man, it's. Let's see. We don't play again until Tuesday. No, not Tuesday. Let me look at this. Sorry, I know I usually don't talk baseball here. We don't play until Tuesday. Yeah. Oh, this is good. This determines it. Yes. Yep. The division is going to be determined this week. We got the Padres 3 straight days. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We've got all of this is playing in LA. All these games. Okay, cool. Yep. So the Dodgers can win the division this week. There's only 6 games left, and the season ends next week. The season ends next Sunday, the 29th. So we face off against the Padres 3 straight games from Tuesday to Thursday. If the Dodgers can win 2 of those 3 matchups, if you win 1 of those matchups, you'd probably be fine. But if you win 2 of those 3 matchups, we're going to lock the division up. So if we win on Tuesday and win on Wednesday, the Dodgers are going to lock up that division for the most part because the Padres have been right there. However, the Padres beat us 3 straight times. They're going to tie us in terms of wins, and they'll have the tiebreaker over us, so they would end up potentially getting the number 1 seed. Lamar needs to do more in the fourth quarter. The whole team needs to do more offensively in the fourth quarter. I know it's easy to just say Lamar, dude, but Lamar, if you've been watching, Lamar is actively showing his frustration with how things are going. When the Ravens get into the fourth quarter, this isn't a Lamar thing, my friend. This is not the Lamar thing. This is not a Lamar thing. This is a thing that we have to look at John Harbaugh, because he was doing this back when Flacco was here. For some reason, if Flacco talked about this and had a problem with it as well, every time the Ravens have a lead heading into the fourth quarter, the Ravens play conservative. Every single time the Ravens have a lead in the fourth quarter, they play conservative. This was happening way back when we had Flacco. If we had a lead in the fourth quarter, they'd play conservative. They would just run the ball. Even if it was resulting in 3 and outs. Very basic runs. They wouldn't try to set anything up. No outside runs, no toss. It'd be the same generic, vanilla, conservative play calling that you would see. We used to do that all the time with Flacco here. And we're doing the same thing with Lamar. That's a John Harbaugh thing. So it's hard for me to sit back and say Lamar needs to do more in the fourth quarter if the game plan is we're going to play conservative in the fourth quarter. There's nothing a quarterback can do if you're going to play conservative. Because he's not going to test the ball. He's not going to test the secondary by throwing the ball down the field. They're not even looking to pass at these situations. The only time they decided to finally pass was when they had no choice but to. And Lamar connected that 3rd down pass to Zay Flowers. When they needed to close the game out by throwing the football, Lamar did it. But we should not be in these situations because we are up big. We need to continue to put more force on these guys. Don't take your foot off the gas pedal. But for some reason, we decide to do that. It is what it is. Teams need to quit acting bougie and go for 3 instead of trying to be greedy with the field. They're going to keep going for it on 4th down, bro. That's how it is. But yeah, I'm just looking at this. I completely forgot. We do face off against San Diego these next 3 games. So if we beat the Padres, we basically lock up the division. And depending on how, let me see the Phillies. Let me look at their game. Let me look at their schedule. Phillies lost to the Mets today. They've got the Cubs the next 2 games, and then they got the Nationals. Their final 3 games are the Nationals. Damn, I'm gonna need them to lose a couple of these games. I don't mind being the 2 seed, but we gotta win our division. Either way, it is what it is, guys. We've been here now for nearly 2 hours. A minute 43. Yeah, I've been here for a minute 43. We've been here for an hour and 43 minutes. And I feel the need to finally end it. My voice is starting to disappear and is breaking up because we've been talking for damn near 6 hours now. I need a rest, especially since I'll most likely be back tomorrow for Monday Night Football. So I guess basically how it would end up looking is Monday Night Football because we have the Commanders playing. Monday Night Football will probably be here Tuesday would probably be our therapy session. Wednesday or Thursday, we'll give a preview for the Ravens-Bills game, and then we'll just go from there. So we got our schedule for how we're going to live stream and stuff. Either way, I'm going to end it here, guys. I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much for pulling up to the stream. Appreciate you guys. The Ravens got to win. They're 1-2 in the season. Can they get back to 500? They have a huge test next week against the Buffalo Bills. This is going to be a primetime game, Sunday Night Football at home in Baltimore. Can the Ravens get back to 2-2? Can they get to 500 and get their season back on track? It's going to be a tough game, but if the Ravens can pull out a victory, they get themselves back to 500, they get themselves back on track, and they start to erase the idiocy we had seen in the first 2 weeks. But we'll just have to wait and see. With that being said, guys, appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you guys rocking with me. You know, especially because I ain't really streaming like the way I was streaming before. Obviously, you know, I'm not here streaming Sunday Night Football. We have Sunday Night Football happening right now, and it's actually a pretty good game, but I'm not here streaming it. And I don't stream all the primetime games anymore because I'm so busy this year as compared to last year. But still, it is what it is at the end of the day. You guys still pull up to the streams and we have nice conversations. So I appreciate you guys always pulling up and tuning in. With that being said, I'm going to let you guys enjoy the rest of your night. We'll probably all just keep watching this Kansas City game, see what happens here. But I'm going to let you guys enjoy the rest of your night. I will see you guys tomorrow night, Monday Night Football, Commanders, Bengals. We'll see what happens with Jaden Daniels. With that being said, guys, enjoy the rest of your night. Be sure to stay safe. And peace out.